Alright guys, it is time to talk Elder Scrolls 6. Faction, depth, and branching stories. But this one touches more so on the factions themselves and having branching storylines based upon what you choose to do in your factions. And honestly, Skyrim had great factions, but they were a little short. I don't necessarily need super long side quests and faction quests, but I want them to be a little bit more impactful. And if I choose to side with the next leader versus becoming the leader myself or something along those lines, I want it to just impact how the story plays out and then what that faction looks like once you complete the main set of quests for those. Whether I defer to the secondary position to keep my other faction options open, and then I can take quests from the head of that faction, or I become the head of the faction myself and I choose what quests our faction as a whole endeavors upon. And maybe I can recruit our faction members to either go and do those quests or do those quests with me because I feel like taking that on. And I think factions could be a way that we could really see an economic system start in the Elder Scrolls 6. I really just want these factions and the choices you make in these factions to really matter. And I think that's where, if you choose these factions, have each of them a little bit more fleshed out than we previously saw in Skyrim, so that if you do choose one that bars you from joining others, there are plenty of things to do, making you feel like you didn't make a bad choice by joining that faction. Because I can understand why they let you join all the factions in Skyrim, because one playthrough could become infinitely longer because of all the different things that you can choose to do. And so I don't want to take that away from the players and make people start entirely new playthroughs if that's not what they're interested in doing. Me personally, I'm more than happy to do that. But I do want you to have the option to do more in each and every faction because it makes joining that faction feel so impactful. It doesn't make you think you have to join other factions just for things to do. Honestly, and this could be cool, imagine joining one faction and another faction collapses entirely because you're not with them and you decided to take that faction out entirely. That would be cool. And honestly, I think that's what players want now in 2025 and beyond.